Step into the Fieldhouse, your front row seat to legendary victories and untold stories. Hey, I'm your host, Lance Leonard, breaking down sports from the inside out, along with co-host Jimmy Lackey. It's more than just a game. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. Hey, welcome into the Fieldhouse Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Lance Leonard, and we want to remind you we are a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network. Co-host here, Jimmy Lackey, CEO and the main man at Kids Inc. And then, of course, we've got a very special guest today, Jimmy, Josh Prock. We'll introduce him properly. Everybody knows him. He's the West Texas A&M head women's basketball coach. Jimmy, you know our tradition. What's the best thing that happened to you today?
Voted. Went and voted this morning.
Was that an overwhelming vote, though, thing?
Yeah, man, it's 4 pages.
Yeah.
But I went in at 8:25, and they were glad to see me. I was the first person in.
Yeah, I know. It's that there's no
really?
presidential
I was
election.
like, really? So, yeah, they were all glad to see me.
They're struggling for votes.
They made me
right
feel
now.
good.
I like that.
Yeah, so I voted.
Here's
this
my
morning.
thought. So in this day and age, we need to put the photo of the people running, okay,
Yeah.
along with our – because you see all the advertisements and all that. So put the photo next to that. In this day and age, we can do that.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Next to their name.
and I'm just going to speak for myself. I went through and I read the ballot for my precinct, which was pretty lengthy. It was 4 pages. And, you know, there's so many of those people I don't know.
Yeah, I
Running
know.
for Supreme Court Justice, there was 4 on one of them. I don't know any of those people.
Yeah, so I've sat down and I've done a little note.
and
so
so
I'm bringing
I did.
in
I went and made
notepad
notes.
this time. I used to not do this
I
at
made
all.
my notes this time, so
Oh,
I
good.
could. Yeah, I mean, I went and actually looked around this time and
I like
made
that.
sure that I, you know, gave them their props. And if somebody's running by themselves, I'm gonna click them on. I'll just tell you right now, because if they've got guts to run,
That's right.
Yeah, no, I
kudos
agree.
to you, because they're gonna win anyway
I
for at least
agree.
that one. So
I agree.
give them a prop. And so,
Josh, what's the best thing that happened to you today?
You know, I get to do it 2 or 3 days a week, so I took my kids to school today, you know, my little one, so it's always
What's the conversation like in the car?
depends on how awake he is.
Yeah.
Today, not a whole lot of
And
conversation.
how old is he?
He's 12,
Yeah.
Colton, so usually it's about the NBA. He's an NBA guru, so it's usually about the last night's NBA games. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he ever question your coaching
Not yet.
strategy?
Not yet, but I know it's coming. It's coming. It's coming for sure, Lance. He's not there yet.
He's that guy. So,
Yeah.
hey, let's introduce him properly. Also, we also have another tradition, Josh. Let me introduce you, though. Hey, he's in his 5th season at WT, having an amazing season. They're 24-3, 16-2 in the LSC. They're ranked number 11 in the nation, and then they'll close it out as we speak today. They still have Angelo and UTPB, UT Permian Basin, this week to close out the LSC season. 12-0 on the road. We're going to ask him how the heck he did that. But we are so thankful for you to come into the Fieldhouse Podcast today.
That's a true honor to be here with you guys, Lance and Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy, what you do for this community and what you guys do for Kids Inc. I mean, all of my kids have been involved in Kids Inc. And so we're super grateful for what you guys do. And Lance, you're an icon, man. So it's a true honor to be on with you. True honor.
Yeah, well, that's very kind of you. We do appreciate that. But, hey, Josh, this is way off the board, but we have a tradition here. Like, we're at number 71. This is the 71st podcast. So somebody you might have played with, a favorite of yours growing up, we always talk about like a number 70, that, you know, and today it's number 71. Now, I'm lost on this, and I had to look this one up. But, Jimmy, let's lead off with you. I'll give you a second to think on that.
Right.
But, you know, maybe it's somebody you liked or somebody you played with back in the day, whatever.
hometown buddy, Brian Millard wore 71 for the Seahawks for 9 or 10 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was offensive
What was
line.
What was he in college?
I think he wore 66 at Texas.
That's what I thought.
He was a captain at Texas, and he was a year ahead of me in school. Played 4 years at Texas. Went to when the USFL opened the first time. He and Herschel Walker were on the New Jersey Generals.
Owned by Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for a couple of years, and then he went to Seattle. He played his entire professional career there at
Love
Seattle.
that.
9 or 10 years. I don't think he missed a ball game. He's on their all-time
Yeah.
Hall of Fame list.
Dumas Demon.
79. He was in the class
There
of
you go.
79 at Dumas, but he wore 71 for the Seahawks.
Mark Tunay, if you're
Yeah.
a Dallas
Oh, yeah.
fan, you know, wore 71.
Yeah.
I couldn't come up with it. I had to look that one
Yeah.
up. I'm going to be honest. Do you have one, Josh?
I'm going to step off here.
Yeah, I thought about it, and I'm pretty sure this is accurate, so it could be wrong. But one of my buddies from high school, John Roanhouse, who I don't know if anybody remembers, Eric Roanhouse.
Yeah, of course.
Legendary coach at Clovis. And
Seriously?
I grew up with his son. And,
I didn't know that.
And John was an offensive lineman.
At Clovis?
Yeah, John wore 71. So
Very cool. I love that.
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And John is look, back in the day, Clovis, we were pretty good. I mean,
pretty good. You were good.
Our offensive line was pretty dominant. John was part of that.
Was John as funny as his dad? Or
funnier.
Wow.
Funnier. John was a hoot.
Yeah.
He was a hoot all the time. I was thankful I didn't always have classes with him because I could not focus with that kid. Could not do it.
What's he doing now? Do you have any?
I know he was managing several restaurants in the Albuquerque area, but I think he moved back to Clovis doing the same thing. So I think that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah. Eric Roanhouse is a legend. One of my, he knew we were covering Amarillo, so for 11 consecutive years they played Amarillo High.
Yes, sir.
And Clovis.
Sir. Yeah.
Real quick story. I got to tell you, I'm a little reporter driving over to Clovis, and I have a citation that I later learned that the Mayfields owned, and totally torched it. Did reverse Stoney's with it. So I had this citation. Anyway, long story short, when I get to Clovis in the parking lot, click off my key, it breaks in the car.
No.
Oh, no.
So I have to leave the car running the entire game.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I don't know what to do, okay?
Yeah.
Drive into a gas station. What's the last thing you're supposed to do? Is fill it up with the car running.
But you had to.
I had to. Ran it all night and then went to a key place that morning. But anyway, Roanhouse one time, they came up here and beat Paladuro 7-0, Josh. And Roanhouse, it was a rainy night. I'm interviewing him after the game. It's raining. There's a puddle there, and he goes, "You know what happened tonight? You see that puddle in there? We fell in that puddle and came out with a trout."
Oh, there you go. That's classic Roadhouse line.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
So anyway, but that's cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah, yeah. So
I'm going to have to contact the folks that did the book. Josh, we have this book my dad gave me, and it's about who wore what numbers. back in the
Oh,
day.
cool.
Yeah, Alex Karras is number 71.
Yeah.
Lion turned actor.
Yeah.
Remember
I
Alex?
love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen to Santana Dodson.
Wow.
There was another one on. He had.
So we missed Alex Karras.
Yeah, got two
Well,
A's on
I didn't get
here.
that one.
Yeah. Yeah, he was famous. So
Two A's on here, but they don't have my buddy Brian in here, and I'm
you
a little disappointed in the book today.
Yeah, I would be disappointed too, Jimmy.
Yeah,
hey, you want to lead us off today?
man, I'll tell
You're
you
tapped
what,
into this.
Coach knows this. I have the best seat in the house for all the ball games because second half our girls are right under the bucket, and you know where I sit.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, Henley West is getting better game by
Yes,
game
sir.
by game for a freshman. She's agile. She can shoot the three when you need her to. We got to hang on to her. She's 3 years down the road. She's going to be
Yes, sir.
dominant in that conference. I love Kyla Kane. I think she's a deer.
Yes.
I think she's just part deer.
Yes.
She can move all the time. I love Claire Graham. Her feet bounce all the time. They're always moving. Kennedy Winfrey's come in, done a great job. Randy Harding referees a lot for us, does a lot of our track meets for us. I've gotten to know several of these girls because they come work for us here, and I think that's cool. Chloe Callahan works for us, and
Yeah.
these this bunch has melded real well together.
Yeah.
They've been fun to watch, and Kim and I are going down to the conference tournament. Look forward to that, and they've just been really
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah, they have been. I know I've said this, and I've talked with Lance a few times about this too. Just about, it's a very connected group.
Yeah.
And you see that on the court.
You do.
I'm gonna tell you a couple of funny stories about a couple of the kids you mentioned in our last game, international. So Claire gets out on a break, and she gets to the hole, and she kind of double pumps and scores, and looks at the bench, is like totally surprised that she could still do that at her age. I'm like, Claire, like, you're still good, like, you're good. And then they had a big 6'4" kid. International's a lot better this year. Their 6'4" kid was good, and I think Henley kind of goes into. I mean, that kid was kind of dominating us a little bit, and Henley's like, let me get in the game. And I think Henley ended up with like 8 blocks that game. It was
No
crazy.
disrespect to Taylor, because she's playing phenomenal.
Yes.
She starts, and she deserves to start. She's doing a great job. But for you to have that freshman come in off
Yeah.
the bench, the way she's done this year. She's just gotten better every ball game.
Yes, she has. You're right, Jimmy.
But if I had a football team, if I was a coach, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd be recruiting Claire. I'd want her to play linebacker for me. That kid's built like a linebacker.
Yes.
And she's tough, and I don't think anything hurts her.
No, you're right on all that.
I would want her on my football team if I was a football coach.
And I think you defined her perfectly. Like, she's not going to ever be that leading scorer for you.
Yeah.
She's not, but she's the one.
She's the workhorse.
She's the workhorse and one of the toughest kids. And when you need that screen set, she's the one that's going to set it.
I have a friend. He listens to the podcast, Turner Carricker. We all know him as Sacco, but he knows Sacco Carricker. That was his nickname. But,
how's that come about? You don't want to?
Yeah.
All right, let's
He punched a couple of kids when he was young, I think. I think in kindergarten, he told me.
And so you got the name Sacco?
He's a big dude. He was a Marine. He's
Sacco.
a big,
I like
Sacco's
that.
a big
I
dude.
do too.
Big dude. But anyway, he knows Claire's dad real well.
Oh, okay.
And we got talking one day. He listens to the podcast, and we got to visiting about it. So I you don't ever see me talk to those girls.
Yeah.
I don't need to be. They don't need to hear from me. But I caught Claire after a ball game one day, and I said, "Hey, do you happen to know Turner Carricker?" And she kind of nodded. She goes, "Not really." I said, "Well, he knows your dad real well." And I said, he lives in Abilene. She goes, "Oh, okay." And that was the only time I've ever really had a chance to visit with her. Just as sweet as could be.
She is.
Stopped and talked, looked me square in the eye the whole time
Yeah.
we talked. But just really impressed with her. The way she plays. I mean, her feet, if you just watch her, if you're out there listening, next ball game, watch her feet.
Yeah.
They're just bouncing. They bounce, 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 bounce. She never stops. Like Kyler. Kyler's always on the move. And, they're fun to watch.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I judge coaches' seasons by this, Josh. This has been around a bit and seen a lot of coaches. The joy in your face when you're coaching now is real, or just talking about it. I mean, I'm not saying all teams aren't that way, but this team really, really, really puts a joy on your face. And by that, I mean behind the scenes, sometimes you have a great team, and there's fair enough that maybe there's a lot of drama, or else you just don't enjoy the way they play sometimes. But this team, I think 100% you're bought in.
Well, I think what typifies is just how much they love each other. And I think this is a little example, but it's also typifies the team. I can't remember if it was a Kingsbury International game. It was one of the two last games. Honestly, Kennedy made a great pass. Like, I made it hit the kid right and square in the hands. Kid should have caught it and finished. Kid misses it. But, I mean, if you're talking about a pass right here, Kennedy looks right at her and says, "That's my fault. I'll make it better next time." That's how you know you got a great team. Like, even though in my eyes as the coach, that's a great pass. Yeah. Like, she probably should have caught that and finished that. But Kennedy takes the blame. Like, and that's when you know you got something special right now. And so you talking about the love and the joy, that's what our program's about. We have pillars of our program: loving, serving, caring. And when you see that, that's when the joy comes out as you coach. When you see your team buying into that.
Talk to me about Kennedy's hand. What'd she do to her hand?
She ended up breaking. There's a lot of little bones in here. I don't know the exact medical term, Jimmy, but it was really weird. It was a St. Mary's game. Somebody just ran by and it just hit it weird. Like, for example, I'm a Suns fan, and Dylan Brooks, it was the same thing. Like, they just hit his hand. And then all of a sudden, she came back. I mean, shout out to Dr. Parker, did a phenomenal job in getting her in and getting the surgery done. And so
she came back quick.
She did. She was. It was about 3 weeks, and she was ready to go. Yeah. So we were blessed to get her back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps to have a dad as a football coach.
Good for her.
Yeah, it does.
Things like that.
Yeah, it does. And a mom as a physical therapist.
Yeah, and a very
that's the key.
And a very, very good one. In fact, she got a shout out from Addison Bristow, the Canyon High star runner.
Yeah.
For keeping her healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jennifer does a phenomenal job.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, while we're talking, though, you made the Elite Eight. You know what it takes to be a great team and not to look too far ahead. You still got games to play and all that. But what's it going to take for you guys to make that special push during tournament time? Mm-hmm. Because tournaments way different.
Yeah.
They happen so fast. You know what I mean? You know how it rolls.
Yeah.
Instead of 2 games a week, you kind of prep, get in that mode. Tournaments are bam, bam, bam.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is this team capable, you think, of handling that?
Yeah, I think our depth depth is what's going to help us this year, because we go anywhere from 10 to 11 deep. I mean, sometimes I know it's only looks like it's 8 or 9, but we can go 10, 11 deep and feel really good about it, and so I think that has a big part of it. But I think over the last, several weeks, we've been playing a lot better defense, and our defense is what's been carrying us in a lot of games. And so offensively, we didn't score as much as we wanted to the last couple games, but defensive. For example, I think we held Kingsville to 50, and I want to say International was around 55 or something. So the last couple games we've really stepped it up defensively, and it'll be interesting games this week because you got two different styles that we'll be going against, so it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. Hey, let's go back. June 2nd, 2021 is when you decide to be a Buff.
Yeah.
WT comes calling, and you're over at the enemy, Eastern New Mexico.
Yeah.
We can call them that now, but they're not really the enemy. But tell our viewers and listeners what into making that decision to come to Canyon.
So we've always had a high view of West Texas A&M. My family and I, my wife and I know Stacy, who works for Jimmy. My wife's cousin is Stacy Knight, and so they
nice.
They've and Brad Duggan as well too, and so we've had family in the area. So that was one thing that's always attracting to you. Is you can get closer to family. It's what you want to do. But I'll be honest with you, Lance. Like, we felt those last couple years at Eastern, because you get to a point at a job, you're like, what else can we accomplish here? We've been in the NCAA tournament. We've won the league at Lone Star. I mean, other than winning a national title, but how much more can you realistically do? And so we really did. And, my wife and I are very faith-based. And so for couple years, we just kept praying, God, whatever you would have next. And we always believed that, pray for what you want, And so we would pray, like, God, West Texas is a job that we would love to have. And so we kept putting that out there for 2 or 3 years. And lo and behold, I can tell you the story. I was during the interview process, but it was a Friday night. I was at church. I did a cool deal there in Clovis where you did a Friday night and you could go to church and then they keep your kids and you and your wife could have a date. So it's kind of cool, the church we went to. But anyway, it was Friday night service, and I get a call from Michael McBroom. And I told my wife, I'm like, I better go take this. It's either going to be good or bad. So I went out to the lobby and took it, and he said, well, I hope this is good news. And you got to imagine, I've now worked myself into the chapel, and it's dark in there. And so he's telling me I got the job, and I'm jumping up and down. I don't know if I've ever jumped that high in my life with excitement. So we got the job, and then obviously, like you mentioned, on June 2nd was the official press conference and the day and stuff. And so it's just been a true honor to be a Buffalo, and we love being here.
One thing that you're not afraid to do, and that is express your faith, in Jesus Christ. That's not always easy to do. I mean, maybe it is for you, but, a lot of people kind of separate that from their jobs, coaching, whatever, because you have administrators who are going to maybe not agree with you. But take me into that. I've always been very impressed with that, and that's I just really have that. It just comes out.
Well, I really appreciate you asking. I mean, it starts when I was a child. I mean, I was raised around. My dad was a minister for 44 years. So
you're a PK, they call him.
I'm a PK. So from
preacher's kid,
from
keeping it clean.
Yeah, from the womb into where I'm at today. I mean, Jesus has always been in the forefront, and I've been blessed throughout my life to be able to see in different things where Jesus has revealed Himself in a sense of, I can name stories where He's showed up and taking care of my brother here or this and that, and so to me, Lance, I mean, I know and I understand the day and time we live in. It can be controversial and can be those kind of things. But one day we all are going to have to go face Jesus one day. You will have to face that one day. And I'm going to always put it out there because for me, it is who I am. And I'm not perfect. And I think sometimes people put out there, well, I've seen him do this or I've seen them do this. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you from the front. I'll tell the camera, like, I'm going to make another mistake. I'm not going to be perfect. Yeah. But only by His grace am I allowed to do that. And so that's why I'm able to be where I'm at is because of Him.
Love that.
Yep. We're all sinners.
We're all sinners, Jimmy.
I mean, I mean, I have no problem talking about it, and we don't need to turn this podcast into worship service today, but I have no problem talking about it whatsoever.
Are you going to lead the singing?
No.
You?
You guys will be the worst podcast you've ever had if you wanted that one.
No, I am the worst singer you've ever heard.
I make a joyful noise. How about that, Lance?
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Recruiting to Portales.
Yeah.
Don Carthel and I have been friends for years. My best friend was on Donnie's staff in the late 80s. I've known him forever. And I know some of the things that he had to do to recruit to Portales. I mean, honestly, that's got to be a little difficult. Well, I mean, I'll preface that by saying, qualifying it by saying, we can be difficult at WT because we're so remote compared to the big cities
Yes.
that these kids today want to be in, et cetera, et cetera. But Portales is out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And to bring a kid there, you've got to go to Lubbock, you got to fly them into Amarillo, or they got to come in from Albuquerque or some big place to get to Portales. Talk to me a little bit about recruiting at Portales.
Yeah, so you mentioned Don Carthel. When I first got the job, he was one of the guys that I actually talked to.
Yeah.
And he says, let me give you a little advice of what I did recruiting-wise. You know, when he'd fly kid in, they were flying them in at night.
That's exactly what he would tell me. I was wondering.
And so I did. I'd drive them in at night, and in the morning they'd be like, where am I? I said, well, you're in Portales. So, no, but to answer your question more fully, Jimmy, I would always just be completely upfront and honest with the kid. Say, hey, this is the town. This is where we are. There's not a lot around, you know. But obviously we were early on. It was a little more difficult because we were trying to build our tradition, our culture, and what we were trying to build there. Obviously it became a little bit easier once we were able to. But you got to also understand, when I first got there, there was a tremendous, first and second year, there was a very good New Mexico high school class.
Yeah.
There really was. You had kids at UTEP, New Mexico State, a lot of other places that I had built really good relationships with. And I didn't think that those kids were going to end up staying at those places. So 2-3 years down the road, all those kids left. Well, there's one place they would come back to. Now, in today's world, those kids can transfer to another Division I.
Yeah.
Then they didn't want to sit out, so they're coming to Eastern. So a lot of ways we were able to build that because of the time frame we were in. Today would have been a little more difficult just because of what you're battling against with NIL and kids can transfer to stuff. But the biggest thing I sold in Portales were the people.
Sure.
You have unbelievable people over there.
When you have the opportunity, you got a captive audience with your team because there's just not
100%.
much for them to go do.
Exactly,
And
Jimmy.
so they spend a lot of time together, I would suspect. And so there's a lot of ways to look at this. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying
for
there's a perspective that you have to take with it. I'll give you a true story. The last time you coached for them, the last year you coached there, Kim and I always try to make that trip. And we walk in, they had the big banners out in the foyer as we were walking to the far side where WT folks sat. And there's this big banner, number 21's on it up there. And I told Kim, I said, that kid needs to be at WT. And lo and behold, you brought her the next year. I was so glad that Olivia came with you to WT.
So I got to tell you, when I first got the job, the first time
Remember the banner out there?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, she was tall in that banner too.
Tall, yeah. Well, when I first got the job, one of the first things I did was to call our kids at Eastern and let them know. And I called Zam, who also came over here with me, and her first response was, "Can I come with you?" And I said, "Well, there's obviously some hoops that we have to jump through, but let's get this first, and let's get settled, then we'll discuss that." Well, I told Olivia, and it was a very short conversation. She was not very happy with me. But then the first time I saw her was Sunday at church, and she looked at me and walked away like, "Oh boy, this is going to be hard." And so I got to give credit where credit's due. My former assistant, who's at North Texas now, women's basketball assistant, Derman Jennings, Derman and Olivia were close. And Derman just flat out, Liv, just go with him. What are you waiting on? You can go. You're a graduate transfer. You don't have to go through any hoops. Just go over there with him. You want to be ag at WT's ag? This is not very smart, girl. Just go. What are you waiting on? And Liv called me Monday and was the next day and was like, "Hey, Coach, I think I want to go with you." I said, "Hey, I think that's a great idea."
Yeah. You got two good ones. I got to know Zam's dad a little bit.
Yes, sir.
During the time, he reffed and all that kind of stuff. So I'd known him through the ref channels. But, that was two good ones that you brought with you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good leaders.
I agree.
Yeah. I keep in touch with Olivia, and I think the world of her. She's a good kid.
Great kid. She's getting married.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good. That's good.
Lucky guy.
Yeah, for sure.
She's a sharp kid.
Hey, Josh had the opportunity. We've talked about it on my radio show before, but Kelvin Sampson, when he was at Oklahoma, and now he's obviously the great coach at Houston. What was that experience like? Tell us about Coach Sampson and what he meant to you.
He means everything. When I always tell people, my mom and my dad shaped who I am in Christ and shaped who I am, as a man. From the coaching perspective, I always tell you, I was raised up by Jim and Julie Prock, right? Well, you're raised up in coaching by somebody too, about figuring out who you've learned under and stuff like that. Well, Kelvin Sampson was the one that, I had the opportunity, blessed to be able to be on his staff. And when you're around that, I was around that for 7 years and just completely soaked up everything. It was interesting when I first got there. I told Coach, like, I was going to be bold. I went in his office and I said, Coach, I want to be on your staff one day when I graduate. And I kid you guys both not, like, it was a very quick. That was the quickest meeting I ever had with him. He literally looked right at me and says, "Go talk to my assistants." And I was like, I thought he was going to say something else, right?
About what?
He's like, and so finally I did. But then I got really close with those guys.
Yeah.
And his point was, you want to be one of them, go be with them.
Yeah.
You know, and I got it, you know. But I know I've told you this story, but I got to tell Jimmy. This is one of the funniest lines that Coach ever had to me. So I got to remember, I'm 22, 23. I'm a Sooner. Everybody knows that. Like, I just being on staff there would be a dream come true. So Coach brings me in and says, "Hey, Coach, I'm Prock. I'm going to promote you to Director of Operations, full-time position, this and that." And I said, "Coach, that would be a dream come true." He said, "Prock, this is not a Make-A-Wish Foundation."
Yeah.
I was like, there you go. That's classic Coach. But
what makes him a great coach?
I think the biggest thing that drives him to me, I mean, I think sometimes he uses the word fear, like he's fear of this and fear of that, but I just think he has such an internal drive to be great.
He's a perfectionist.
He's a perfectionist, yeah. And then when you got to, one of the things that always stood out to me, and you see how a coach is, right? I was very blessed through the years. I got to know his family. Kellen, who's on his staff, I basically helped raise that kid.
Yeah.
And when his mom and dad would go during the summertime, I'm over at their house when he can't drive, and I'm taking him everywhere. You know, so like Kellen and I got really close, and their daughter Lauren, she and I got close. I mean, so we were able to really be around their family quite a bit. But it was a true honor to get to know his parents. His mom, you see where he gets his toughness from. It's his mom. I mean, his mom was very hard-nosed, very tough. But the work ethic, the never-ending, relentless pursuit of perfection, to Jimmy's point, comes from his dad. Wow. His dad was a coach. And I'll tell you the story about his dad. His dad, you know, later in his life, had to walk around with a cane. You've been to Lloyd Noble? Both of you have been there?
Yeah.
So you see how high it is up, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's an elevator that'll take you to the top. I never once saw that man take an elevator.
Really?
He would get on his cane and walk up the stairs every day. And I said, that's what I tell my coaches, like, that inspired me. So you wonder why I'm not going to take shortcuts? Because I saw Ned Sampson walking upstairs the entire time at 71 years old on a cane and wouldn't take the elevator, you know.
That's awesome.
That's like going to Iba's Arena. It's just straight up.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
It's straight up.
You talking about Gallagher Iba?
Yeah.
So, again, I'll finish with this story. I'm still very grateful for this. Sorry for all the Oklahoma State fans out there. But, you know, the last game in there that before they expanded and closed it down, that was our team that beat them. And
Wow.
Coach was so happy. This was probably not the best decision we ever made. But afterwards, he told the bus driver, "Let's go drive by Eskimo Joe's." We had a lot of on the bus the entire time. So it was. I'm sitting back here like, oh, this is probably not good, but oh well.
That's pretty cool.
What a great college town, though.
Yeah, it is.
Stillwater's a great
Stillwater.
What
It
a
is
great
fantastic.
arena, really.
It is.
Historic. Yeah. The first Bedlam I ever saw was wrestling Bedlam.
Oh, really?
OU, Oklahoma State, and Joe
That's
Stafford.
big time. That's big time.
Yeah.
Who's a Tascosa grad, was a Oklahoma wrestler. Mm-hmm. Place was packed.
Yeah.
And I wrestled in high school, and when I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, this is unbelievable."
They have great rivalry in wrestling for sure.
Yeah. By the way, he got a concussion that game.
Oh wow.
I mean that match, and I'm trying to interview him afterward, and he is gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, like Lance, I don't remember anything that happened. I'm like,
We
okay.
went to a ball game. I can't remember what year this was. It had to have been around 03, 04-ish.
Mm-hmm.
5-2 were playing. It was T.J. Ford in Texas. Was
Oh,
Oklahoma
yeah.
State. I think
Yeah.
Big Country and that bunch was playing.
Yeah.
And Dick Graham had seats, nosebleed.
Oh man.
And he gave us our tickets, and me and Bill Bandy and Mitch Contreras and Kobe Hooker went to that ball game. And I mean, we were looking down.
Scary.
And it's loud in there too. They
It is
They
loud.
had a banner, CBS's loudest arena in America.
it's a great
But
It is loud.
It was a great place to watch a ball game.
It is.
Hey, before we get you out of here, you're 12-0 on the road this year. You finished Lone Star that way. That is unheard of. How did that happen? What?
Yeah.
And are you gonna your next home game? You gonna get on the bus and drop them off? You know what I mean, at the club? Yeah.
You know, we were going through this last road trip. You know, we obviously knew we were 10-0, and I didn't want to say anything to the team, you know, because you don't want to, of course, jinx anything as a coach or anything like that. But part of winning on the road, and this team actually, when you look at it, we've probably played a little better on the road this year because it's a little tighter. You know, you don't have the home crowd there. I don't have Jimmy on the baseline yelling at the officials for me. You know, you know what I mean? I mean, it causes you to get a little tighter knit because you got to really get tougher to be able to go to that road environment, no matter whether they've got people there or not. That team is comfortable on that floor. That's where they practice all year. They're good there, you know, and so I just think it takes a certain amount of mental toughness that you have to have, and this team's maturity level that they've shown all year long. But I went back and I researched. I've been a head coach now for 17 years, and I really did think there was a team or two at Howard Payne that I thought I coached there that we went undefeated on the road, and I thought that 16-17 team, the team at Eastern that won the league, I actually thought we went undefeated on the road. But actually, there's all those teams that lost one or two. That's the first time in my head coaching career. And I actually asked Coach Sampson, I said, can you remember the last time you went undefeated on the road? And he's like, I can't think of it. I mean, just think of what they just went through. The gauntlet. They had to go to Iowa State and to Kansas. You win both of those, I mean, that's crazy, you know. So, and then they still had to go to Tech earlier in the year, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, it's to go win on the road. I mean, you're going to places like Eastern to play, which WT Eastern, as we talked about, is a rivalry game. You know, you're having to go down to Lubbock Christian. I mean, to go win at those kind of places, it takes a lot of mental fortitude, and this team hasn't.
Well, let's just be honest. For years, Lady Buff tradition, we got a target on our back.
100%.
You know, we've always had a target on our back.
Yes,
It goes
sir.
back to the Schneider days, all the way up through Krista and Mark. We've had a target on our back, and that doesn't change.
No,
and
sir.
So, if you want to be at that level, then you got to be ready to go every night.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is way cool. So, you got anything else for Coach?
No, I love this group. I hate that we may lose some of them because of graduation. I'm just, you get tired of these kids. You know, I've watched Kyla for 4 years up, and my grandparents were from Wellington, and so I got to meet her mom one day. We were over at their activity center one day, and her mom brought some kids in from their school. She's principal of one of the schools. Got to meet her and have a conversation with her, and know some other family members of hers, and you know, you get to know some of these kiddos, and occasionally meet some of their parents and Asia's parents I've met. When we went to Florida, when we went out to Tampa with y'all, you know, and you know, we're the only ones there, and Carly's folks, and you know, you get to know a few of them and able to say hi and hello and welcome them to Canyon and love it when they come to games, and that's the fun part of what we get to do as just fans, you know. But you know, those kids, man, they're just solid, quality, top-notch, salt-of-the-earth kids, and we'll be there in Frisco, ready to go on that Friday.
Well, to your point, what you just made, you know, you talk about the salt-of-the-earth, the quality that these kids, like the character and who these kids are, it's a direct reflection of the way they were raised. Yeah. And I can go down the list of every single one of these kids. You know, they were all raised the right way. They all have great parents, and so that's been a blessing to have. And you know, a quick little off the topic, little side note for the fans that'll be going out to the game. There's a good chance it's Thursday, but it might be Saturday. I mean, obviously we have our senior day, but the little side note is Taylor Hagan will probably reach her 1,000th point in one of those two games this weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that adds a lot.
That's our third this year. You know, Kyla and then Randy Harding and now Taylor.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
I agree.
I wish y'all nothing but the best. I want them to get the most out of this season that they possibly can, and I don't think it'll be from a lack of effort. So,
thank you, Jimmy.
You got that.
We got it. Yes, sir.
You do it. We would talk NIL portal next time you come in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And congrats. Just signed Ella Brown from Emerald High, Coach Brown's daughter, and I think it's steal of a deal. Yeah. Just personally, I think she has, as you guys like to say, so much upside. And I'm not saying that's a disrespect to what happened at Emerald High. Right. She's just getting better and better and better.
Well, I mean, you read the article, and Coach Williams basically said that. You know, he said Ella's a perfect example of trust the process. Yeah. You know, and that's exactly what you just mentioned, you know, and so he said that too. And so, I mean, Ella's got great parents. I mean, Tom and Trish, we've known for a long time. You know, I was teasing around with my athletic director. I said, you know, if I got any parent problems with that dad, I'm sending to you. I'm not dealing with the dad. Yeah, you got to deal with that.
Before we go, I'll say something about Tom's group. We fed them right before New Year's out at my shop, and they're a different group. You've been around them. They pulled 3 tables together like we're sitting here. They pulled all 3 of them together, and they all just sat in their own little deal. They're all real quiet. They're not like some of the groups we've had before.
Yep.
We've had your girls over and they have fun, and this
Yep.
bunch, man, they ate and they left, and but they were happy to get fed, and but they're young and they're figuring it out. I'm glad they're going to make the conference tournament because they might surprise some folks there.
Yeah.
But that's another good group of kids. They just get out there and try to do their thing.
Well, he's got great young men. I could tell you because when I see you see these things right when they walk in, and our girls are behind them, whatever, they're holding the door for them.
Yeah.
That just tells you these young men are being raised the right way.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, shout out to Tom and Chris and Zach and those guys they got great character kids. And I think you're right. I think they're really starting to play their best basketball.
Yep.
And so, nothing be greater than getting out of the tournament, right, Jimmy? And on Sunday, getting to watch both WT teams play.
No joke.
So
that would be awesome.
Joke.
That would be awesome. So, Josh, man, blessed to get to know you and also have you here at West Texas A&M. It's a lot of fun to see your teams play, and we can't thank you enough for joining us today on the Fieldhouse Podcast.
It's an honor to be here with you two, and Jimmy, thanks again for all you do for this community.
I have a great staff. They get it done.
So and Lance, I mean, again, like when you think about media for the Amarillo area, the first name you come to is Lance Lawnert, and you've set the standard for what this needs to be. So thank you.
One last story I'll tell you about Lance.
Oh, I love it. I love
so
stories.
I went to Austin this last weekend for one of my buddies that was on the '86 championship team, and played football at WT, and another one of his buddies' teammates was there, Steve McMurtry, and Steve and I were standing over there talking and got talking about Lance. He goes, "Oh man, Lance was awesome." And so I just stepped over in the corner. We're in the reception. It's loud. I said, "What's this?" I just handed him the phone, and Steve and Lance picked up from like all those years
That's
ago.
awesome. That's great.
Lance told me his badge of honor because he just started at the Globe News about this time, and he said my badge of honor was that offensive line. They were tough. They were big. They would let me in the offensive line locker room to talk to him, and Steve remembered that. Steve had a great relationship with Lance, and
that was cool.
That started in 1986.
Yeah. They had and Josh, that place stunk.
Yeah,
so bad. These old linemen were just like, but to get to go in that room and interview them, that was like, all right, you're welcome. That was kind of cool of them.
Just real quick to further your point about because you asked me about Coach, and I just thought about this because you were there that day, but I think it showed how much Coach loves his players.
Yeah.
Is when Austin Johnson was getting inducted into the Panhandle Sports Hall of Fame, Coach came up for the day, and he, and so that's when I knew he was going to be up there. So it was cool to see Austin again. Obviously, see Austin all the time, but then just kind of see Coach there. And the thing about Coach is a lot of times you struggle to get him to talk about his own team. Like, how's next year going to be, Coach? This and that. I mean, he just pours you with questions and figuring out what's going on with you. And the one thing I can tell you this that I'm able to do every year, and I'll finish with this, is I take the things that I felt like we need to get better at. I asked those captains on the team, I asked them, what are things that I miss? What are those things, right? And I asked my coaches too. And so I get all that list of stuff together, and every summer I send that to Coach. And then he and I have about an hour, 2 hour conversation about, and sometimes they're hard conversations because there's sometimes things that you don't want to hear. But Coach knows that, and about our relationship, that's what I want.
Wow.
Don't tell me what I need to hear or what I want to hear, because that doesn't make me better. He tells you what you need to hear. And now he's not afraid to do that. He'll tell many people what they need to hear.
That's part of what makes him great.
It is.
I mean, if you're honest all day long, you don't have to worry about it backtracking. So
thanks for being here.
Hey, that was awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy. Good to see you always.
Always.
Hey, like I like to say, this is the Fieldhouse Podcast. We are a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network, and we'll see you when we see you.